One person's discarded fish is, well, a researcher's treasure. Students at the UT Marine Science Institute in Port Aransas are relying on carcasses to study fish trends in the Gulf. Madeline Dart is here now to explain why these men are digging through trash for research. Maddie?
Yeah, Rudy, it might look like quite the dirty job, but these students say it's an easy and free way to collect data. And a warning to everyone at home, if you're eating these researchers' methods might make you a little uneasy, so look away. Whereas some fishermen regard fish carcasses as virtually useless, researchers deem it scientific gold. By looking at discarded fish, they're able to discover their reproductive trends, where they're swimming, and how their environment affects them.
We can really get a complete story about, what are the fish doing, what's affecting them, and how does it affect the local fisheries, which are so important to Port Aransas.
Bolser says they can also backtrack the effects of any major events in the water, like natural disasters or dredging. And it's a good thing there's no shortage of carcasses. Bolser says otherwise they'd have to go out on a boat to complete their research. Rudy?
All right, thank you, Maddie, for that.